sec. 0. This is the equator. Well, it doesn't look like much.
So here you can see a step by step how these guys they used to make a shrunken head. It's a straight.
I guess this is the start of a new video. Same shirt, same clothes, same spot, but we're leaving. In the last video, we explored what's behind us, Mitad del Mundo, the center of the world with a monument where it claims to have the equator, the fake equator.
If you haven't seen that video, go check it out before you watch this one.
Definitely, because you will understand why this video is about finding the real equator. So one thing I want to say about Mitad del Mundo, the place with the monument and one of the most visited touristic places in all of Quito, Ecuador, is that it is the fake equator. It's not the real position, but it deserves a visit because the French explorer who found that this was the equator way back in 1732, he deserves a lot of credibility because, I mean, he found the equator without any sort of technology, just using maps and everything else. So anyone else in this world would not be able to do that today without maps of the GPS system. So it's definitely cool. It's a good place. You should visit there.
And it's only $5 as an entry fee, so it's not too bad.
So we are searching for the real equator. Over there, it wasn't exactly 0, 0, 0. Right now, we are standing at 0, 0, 7. So we're at 0, 0, 7. We're gonna walk until we find 0, 0, 0. Hopefully we find it. Hopefully we don't end up in somebody's house. We'll see what happens. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Let's go.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this, but right where the tip of my finger is, on top of that giant hill is a podium or like a big pole, and we believe that is the marker for the real equator. So if that is a marker for the equator, that means the real equator runs along this kind of like ravine gorge right here, so that's probably why they didn't build a monument right here.
Okay, so now we've come to a street where we couldn't keep going in the north position or the north direction. So now we have to walk down a little bit to find a street that's going to go into the north direction so we can keep going against that latitude line to find the 0. So we're still at 3 seconds so far. Also, we have just kind of entered a local neighborhood. Oh, look at the little doggy. It's a husky.
Okay, so now we are 2 seconds away from the equator.
I have a feeling the equator is going to be on this street. I'm not so sure what street this is either, but I do know it's north. We're getting some people staring at us. I doubt they see. Oh, wait.
Okay, now we just hit the 1 second mark.
The equator's got to be here somewhere. Maybe there's a marking. I don't know. But we're going to find it.
Watch, it's this street.
1 second. I think we're at like half a second. We're getting close here. And it's coming up. Mask off. 1 sec. 0. This is the equator. Well, it doesn't look like much. No one's marked anything.
We're on the equator, but there's not much to see.
I think we need to mark the equator.
How? I'm not vandalizing.
Alright, according to iPhone compass, it says 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds north. So we are on the equator right here. It honestly doesn't look like anyone has been to this part of the equator. So I think we need to mark it as the first explorers to this part. Stone should do. Here we are, equator.
Do not.
Come closer.
Just leave the
Come closer.
stone there.
Come closer. It fades out.
Do not put my name on there.
All right. Like I just said, we are at the equator. Obviously the equator runs a long way throughout the world, but I just wanted to mark that I've been here. MR 21, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. I now have part of the equator. You know what? Before I leave, I have to get a photo with the equator, the true equator. So, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pull up the compass, make sure it's at 0, 0, which it is. It's at 0, 0, and here it is. This is the equator. 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. All right, now that we left the equator, we're going back up towards the main area in search for some food and maybe hit the museum. There's another museum that you're supposed to be able to see some pretty cool experience, like the egg one that we tried in the last video. Also, the girl I just showed on camera, she stopped us to tell us that it's a little dangerous in this neighborhood over here where we were. But
Which makes sense why there isn't a monument here too.
yeah, but it's okay because I marked the equator. We got it done, videos there, but she was very kind to let us know that it's a little unsafe here and somebody could steal our stuff. So, we're headed out of here. All right, we just found the museum that does the cool experiences with guides, and we're gonna go in here and see what it's about. Hopefully it's not too much to get in. Let's check it out. ¿Hablas inglés?
No, nada de inglés.
Nuestro español es no bueno.
Tranquilo, vengan por acá entonces. No les puedo explicar acá porque no speak English. ¿Ya? Entonces, por acá.
So the kind gentleman that was just at the door over there asked him if he spoke English. He said no, but that's okay. But he told us to go this way and we can see some things. So we'll see what we find and we'll see what we understand. All right, so inside this museum here where I am standing is the true equator. It is 0, 0, 0. It's a little more safe, I guess, to be here. We've entered the museum. We're going to do a guided tour. So we'll see how much we can show you.
We have RP eagles, cockapoo frogs, macaws, parrots, toucans, monkeys, ocelots, jaguars, capybaras, tapirs. We have a different species of animals and plants, so we are rich in flora and fauna, but we have as well different indigenous groups, and one of them are the Shuar, S-H-U-A-R. And the Shuar, they are pretty famous because they used to make shrunken heads. Let me show you the process.
Wow, we're about to see how the old tribal group the Shuar used to make shrunken heads. This should be interesting.
So here you can see a step by step how these guys they used to make a shrunken head. First they kill their enemies, then they cut off the head, the chopping of the head, and they start taking everything out. So they remove the skull, the brain, the teeth, the eyes, everything was out. So what they left just the skin and the hair. Then they boil it. They boil it, the skin, and some different plants, some different herbs that nobody knows because it's their secret. But those plants, they were helping them to preserve the skin. Next step, you can see that they were sewing up the mouth. They were closing the mouth because they thought that probably the soul is going to escape and is going to be taking revenge. Next step, hot stones to burn the last fat or to dry the skin. But then they remove the stones, okay? And this becomes totally hollow. And this step, it was where they were shrinking the skin, but they were preserving as well all of the features. But this one is not real, okay? It's okay. Okay. Well, the guy who was making this, he was feeling really proud of himself that he was wearing the head as a necklace, or he put at the end of his spear to show everyone that he was the winner, that he was having his enemy's head as a trophy of war. That is a goat skin, but this one is real. Yes, this one, it belongs to a 12-year-old boy, and his reduction was about 170 years ago. So small because he was a little boy, but the size of your fist, it could tell you how small it could be your head if those guys, they were doing the process on you.
Wow, those shrunken heads were creepy. I can't believe they used to do that way back then. Just really, really creepy. Now we're headed to a new area, into a fortress or something. Whoa.
It's one of the indigenous groups in the Amazon basin, and some of them, they're still preserving their traditions. One of those traditions is to be naked. They're not using clothes. Just the man, he's going to be using a string to tie his genital for protection, and big piece of balls, wood balls in the ears. And when a hole is big, that means he's important. The bigger the hole, the more important he becomes. As you can see, the house, it looks like a canoe upside down, and the floor is concave. But why is that? It's because if the rain is coming inside of the house, all the water is going to stay in the middle, and it's going to be pretty easy for them to drain the water out through the doors. And the sides they are going to be using for sleeping. Of course, they sleep in hammocks like the one up there. Inside of this house, they can live like 4 families together. It's going to be 1 family in each corner. The fireplace always is going to be in the middle because they must share the fireplace. And those guys, they were having different traditions. And one of those traditions was to bury the people in this type of tomb or grave, which is called tola funeraria. To means land or earth, and la means our. So tola means our land. The tola usually had 3 meters of diameter and 8 meters of depth. And when somebody dies in that culture, they didn't be using coffins like we'll do nowadays. They were using pots or vessels, like the one in that corner. So they introduced the corpse in fetal position because the vessel was representing the womb. So they thought they are going to reborn again. They thought they are going to have another life. And that's the reason why when the chief of this culture dies, they put the chief together with his wife, his concubines, and his servants. Nowadays, we can see the seasons, the solstice days, and as well the equinox days. But how? It's pretty easy, just with a shadow. As you can see, the shadow right now is in the southern hemisphere. So that means the countries of the south, like Argentina, Chile, New Zealand, they're in the cold time. Almost at the end of the cold time, winter, but the countries of the north, like your countries, you're in the warm time or summer. So the shadow is staying in the south 6 months because it's 3 months for autumn, 3 months for winter. And during that time, we can see the shadow making a semicircle every single day. 6 a.m., 6 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m. Then the shadow is going to be moving to the north and is going to be doing the same thing, right? 6 a.m., 6 p.m. The shadow is going to be moving every equinox. That is on March 21st and September 23rd. And both days change the seasons. But here in my country is going to happen something really interesting. In both days, in the equinox days, the rays of the sun are going to be falling perpendicular, straight down. In March 21st and September 23rd, the rays of the sun are going to be falling straight down, perpendicular. And we don't have shadow for about 3 or 4 minutes at noon. The shadow is going to disappear for completely. And then the next day, yes, the shadow is going to be appearing on the other side, little by little. So 6 months, the shadow is over here, and then 6 months, the shadow is going to be on the other side. We have this sundial. This is a very special sundial or solar clock. It's the only one that you are going to be finding with 2 faces. One face is in the northern hemisphere and the other face is over the southern hemisphere. So that means that 6 months I have to explain you one side and 6 months I have to explain you the other side. From March 21st to September 23rd, I have to stay here showing you this face. But from September 23rd to March 21st, I have to move to the other side and I have to start showing you this face. So can you see the shadow? The shadow is over here. So it's telling us that it's 20 to 3. Can you tell me what time it is? Yes. Oh yes, what happened? Your watch is not good. Right. You know what's happening? It's because this one is giving us the natural time and this one is giving us the commercial time. Actually, the day it doesn't have 24 hours completely. The day like today, we have 23 hours, 56 minutes and 4 seconds. And that's why every 4 years we have the leap year to compensate that time. But the indigenous people, they didn't know about the numbers. They used to divide the day into 3 parts. Tutamanta, Pachta, and Chisi. Tutamanta, morning, and Quichua. Pachta, noon, and Chisi, the afternoon. To number 6. Why is that? Here in my country, the sun rises at 6 and the sunset at 6. So always the sundial is going to be working from 6 to 6. We don't have such a big difference as you have in your country. Long as day, short is night. Long as night, short is days. Here in my country, always we have the sun from 6 to 6. Mathematician scientist who study the movement of the water and the movement of the wind according with the rotation movement of the planet Earth. So he said when the Earth is rotating, the Earth is producing a force which is called the centrifugal force. That force burns from the equator and is going to the poles. That force, it has a lot of incidence in the water and as well in the wind, giving the direction for the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the twisters, the typhoons, the cyclones, and the north and as well in the south. So tell me, in which direction is going north? Clockwise or counterclockwise or anti-clockwise? Counter, right? What about south? Can you tell me?
Clockwise.
Clockwise, right? Yes? Can you be in the middle, sir? Okay, can you see the middle?
Yeah.
Can you tell me in which direction is going the line?
No.
No? Because it's going just straight.
Right.
Yes. So it's neither.
No direction.
It's not direction. It's going just straight. So here we don't have influence of that force. So I'm going to be showing you here that it's going to be the most important part, that here the water is going to be falling straight down. But in this short distance, I'm going to be doing just a simulation. It's going to be just a recreation to understand how the forces are going in both places. Okay? And in that way, it's going to be very easy to understand how it works, the Coriolis forces. Up here. 1, 2, and 3. It's straight. Now I'm gonna be moving this to the south. Okay, remember that this is just a simulation to understand how the water is going, for example, in Australia. Now we'll move.
Bueno, mucho tanto.
Taking the clock in.
Yeah.
Magic clock man, taking the clock.
Okay, very good.
Now let's do the next one. I'm going to be showing you this one. Here's much easier for balancing an egg at the top of a nail because the force, it gets null, it gets cancelled, and it's going straight down. The same as the water is happening here. Hold the liquid, especially the yolk, it's setting down in the base of the egg. What you have to do is you have to move the egg just little by little, and you're going to be feeling when the yolk is setting down. Look, it's like a magnet or something like that. Hey, now it's your turn. Do you want to try?
Sabían que aquí pesamos un kilo menos.
Somewhere.
Sí, aquí pesamos un kilo menos. Pero este kilo menos lo pesamos en masa corporal, ¿no?
That's just to show that it's a real egg.
I'd like to show you something else. This line, the equator line, is crossing through different places. One of those places is my country, Ecuador, but it's going as well through Colombia, Brazil, Gabon, Congo, Republic Democratic of Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Somalia, and Indonesia. All of those places, they have the equator. So why we are so important? Why we are the official middle of the world? Any idea?
Isn't one of the volcanoes or mountains here actually the closest point to the sun in the whole entire planet?
Okay, because the mountains, you are right, because we are pretty, we are much farther from the center of the earth and closer to the sun. Very good. So the other places, they are too low, they are flat, or they are in the sea level. So Ecuador, it was pretty important in the year 1736, well, in that time it was Quito, to measure the planet Earth. The French people, they were pretending to comprove Isaac Newton's theory. Isaac Newton, he was saying that the Earth is not totally round. So he was saying, okay, let's see if he was right. So they came to Quito, because Quito, it was the only highest point, all right? So they came here, they were measuring the planet Earth, and they were saying, well, Isaac Newton, he was right. We're flat in the poles and wider in the center. Quito is farther from the center of the Earth, closer to the sun, and that makes here less gravity. If it's less gravity, you're much lighter right now. You're losing weight, okay? About, let's say, 2.2 pounds less, a kilo less. This is a typical house of the highlands of my country. This house is here since the year 1875, so it's 146 years old. It's made with bareque. Bareque is a combination of mud, volcano stones like pumice stone, a straw, chawalquero. Chawalquero is the flower of the agave plant, corn stalk, that is a type of bamboo, and boñiga. Boñiga is the manure or the excrement from llamas or from cows. The indigenous people, they are using the excrement to consolidate the walls. But many of these materials are flexible. So that's why this house is earthquake resistant. And as well it's insulated, because when outside is hot, here is fresh, it's cool, and when outside is cold, inside is getting warm. Over there we have the fireplace. It's just a hole in the ground and it's having 3 stones. The stones are representing the union of the family, father, mother, and kids together. When indigenous people are cooking, it's going to be a lot of smoke, which is no good, it's not so healthy. But the smoke is pretty important inside of the house because that helps to seal the roof. It waterproofs the roof. She was the owner of this house. Her name was Rita Caiza. And she passed away up here. Okay, she passed away when she was 110, and she was sleeping in that area in that corner, and she was using those big pots to prepare chicha. Chicha is a typical drink, it's a typical beverage, and here in the highlands it's made with corn. It's a fermented juice corn. And over there in that corner we have some guinea pigs. Guinea pigs are typical food in Ecuador. Is one of the indigenous groups that you can find in the south center of my country. Let me introduce you. She's Rosita, he's Jose.
Buenas tardes.
That was cool. We just got to see what a traditional home was like after we did all the experiments of being on the equator. So we just finished up the guided tour here at the actual coordinates of the equator, the museum. It was really cool. The guide was super awesome, spoke good English. What did you think about it?
I at first thought it was kind of gimmicky, but she was very knowledgeable about all kinds of different cultures throughout Ecuador, and you know, you could really tell that she loves her country. It's really cool.
And it was only $4 per person, so...
For 40 minutes.
For 40 minutes, yeah, it was about 40 minutes worth. We got to see, you know, the egg trick, the Coriolis trick, and then like,
trick,
the whole water experiment, and then some other things, and you know, we got to learn about Ecuador and its culture, so it was totally worth it. If you come here to Quito, make sure you come to this place, and you won't regret it. But now, it's 3:30, and we have to head back to the center of Quito, which takes about an hour on the bus, so we're gonna end the vlog here. That's another vlog. 2 vlogs one day, that's rare. So, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Later!
We're not vandalizing. I do not condone this, by the way.
Thanks.